Yo, what's good, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know what it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. TD Rocks or Rock and Metal Thrive. It's a special Wednesday episode coming your way due to the fact that another band that we've had on the podcast before is making their return appearance due to the fact that they have a brand new single coming out on Friday, February 5th. The band is called RoZY. The single is called Doll, and we talk all about it in the podcast. Plus, you get to know even more about the band. And if you watched our original podcast with two of the members from RoZY, both Zoe and Molly, now we've got Charlie and Brandon, also the band, on the podcast as well. Do Zoe and Molly return? Absolutely. We dive into what the band's been up to. We dive into the single for Doll. Well, we just get into some crazy conversation as well as to what they're doing right now. And yes, I make them a promise that I'm going to put them in the first rounds on Me Club, but modify it because it also involves now ice cream. Yes, it does. So are you guys ready to hear about some brand new music from the band RoZY? Because you should be, so let's go! Yeah! Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast, about a week maybe before I shot this episode, I saw this nice little thing come across my Instagram page that said, hey, this band that I've had in the podcast before is coming out with a brand new single in February. And I thought, I've loved having this band on before. And if you look at the video right now, especially on two of the screens, you're going to see a skateboard deck for the band. And if you look at my screen as well, let me move the camera. Mine is hanging up on the wall right there. They've been on the podcast before, both Molly and Zoe, but now the full band is here. So please welcome back to the podcast the second time, RoZY. So everybody, welcome back to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Hi. What's up?
I hope I gave you guys the proper intro on that one. Otherwise, I'm going to feel silly.
100%. Thank you. I feel so important right now. I really do. I do.
Well, first things first is, how's everyone doing today?
Good.
Wonderful.
Living
I'm doing great.
Getting over a sickness.
Was it? I was saying, was it the bad kind of sickness, or was it the disturbed kind of sickness where you're down with it?
No, we're not down with this.
See, I mean, every time I see people get like, oh, I have the sickness, I'm like, is it the good kind of sickness, the kind, or is it the bad kind, the one that
like the kind.
The one without lime, we'll put it that way, because, you know, if you gotta get corona, you gotta have it with lime. Just tastes better, but not the virus. Well, before we really jump into it and get into the fact that you guys got a new single coming out, I want to start out the podcast the way that I start out every single one. Zoe, Molly, you are very familiar with this, where I always ask everyone to answer 3 questions for me. And the 3 questions, 2 of them are easy. Last one is always my favorite. And Zoe and Molly, if you want to take part in the 3rd one once again, I am more than happy to have you guys do that. So the question I need to answer are, what's your name? That's easy. What do you do in the band? That's easy as well. But the 3rd is my favorite. I want to know that, like, a little fun fact about yourself, but I want it to be a wacky fun fact or the wackiest story you can think of, because those always make me laugh and they're always hilarious. So I'll let whoever wants to start it out just take it away.
Boys,
Mr. Moon?
Yeah, Charlie, I'm going to call you out. You go first.
I suppose. I'm Brandon Martinez. I play guitar in the band RoZY. And I guess the wackiest fact about me right now is I'm like obsessed with chess all of a sudden.
Yes!
So, girls, we need to play some chess. Like,
dude,
I
love chess. We're gonna have to play it now. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I'm like nerding out on it. I'm trying to learn all these moves, the Queen's Gambit.
All the different actions.
Did you watch it?
Do the figure out how to win in 3 moves. I remember doing that. I did pull that on my dad once, and he was just like, how the hell did you do that? Then I'd always like try and set myself up for it. But after you do it once, everyone kind of just figures it out, because it's like the same kind of move. I'm just like, shit, I can't do this again.
I got like a magic trick when you show someone how to do it.
Yeah. And it just gets complete mess up. You're just like, oh man.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm Charlie Bubanek. I play bass guitar and sing some backing vocals. And from the age of 4, I think as early as 4, I was a professional polka musician.
Professional polka?
Yeah, polka musician, yes.
were you living in Wisconsin at that point where I'm at, where polka is king?
No, well, polka's actually pretty king down in central, south, and southeast Texas. There's a large, up north it's mostly Polish stuff, but down here it's a lot of German and Czech families, third, fourth generation, and they've kept the polka tradition alive. And I was, my dad got me on board with all of that when I was old enough to, I guess, blow a trumpet.
Okay, I was about to ask what instrument you played as well, due to the fact that, well, within my family as well, my mom's side of the family, I should say, because they're 100% Polish. My grandpa played a lot of polka music, and he is currently a member of the Wisconsin Concertina Hall of Fame. So
That's awesome. Awesome.
As you can see, the Polish music stylings definitely did not funnel to me. The love for music did, but the Polish polka stylings, they don't fit with rock and metal. Not that well. Unless if someone can put a concertina or something like that into a metal song. I mean, I had a band on called Kill the Imposter. They're a deathcore band. And we came up with the idea of putting the recorder in a deathcore song. And they ordered one online. And 2 days after we shot, they sent me a picture that it came in the mail. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm really hoping they put this in there because that'd just be hilarious.
That's funny.
My gosh.
I love that.
But pretty soon, I mean, on one of these records, Charlie, you're gonna have to, for RoZY, you're gonna have to end up playing the trumpet. You know, you can get like some ska inspiration in there as well.
I play the accordion too.
You do. He plays a lot of instruments.
You do.
I could play the accordion. No, there's some cool kind of polka fusion groups in Texas. One
Really?
came out of the University of North Texas, which is a super prestigious music school, and they're called. No, I forgot what I'll remember it later.
Okay.
If you remember at any point, just like blurt it out during the podcast, like, I remember it!
Right?
But that is definitely one of those interesting facts I was not expecting to hear. So, but like connecting it with also the fact that my grandpa was a big polka musician, that's just really weird to me, but also kind of awesome at the same time as well. So thank you, sir.
Me? Oh, okay. I'm Molly Flores. I play the drums in the band RoZY. And a fact. So I didn't think I'd be saying this, but like the past 2 weeks or so, every day after like I get off of work and I'm driving home, I have to talk to myself and motivate myself to do things. But I have straight up conversations, and then I with myself, but also my dog. He comes to work with me, and so I low key be looking at him. I'm like, right, and he's like, what, and I'm like, right, and but
okay,
yeah.
that is honestly not surprising, but also funny at the same time, because I've done that before as well. Like you're driving somewhere and all of a sudden you're just trying to pump yourself up, and you're literally giving yourself this full-on hype speech where you should honestly record it, put it on YouTube, and then just see what happens, because someone might actually pick it up and be like, this is legitimate motivational talk. You can end up becoming a motivational speaker on the side, of course, because RoZY comes first.
Right literally, that's a good idea.
Really
I might do that. I've literally been doing it. It's working though, because I'm doing stuff now. You know what I mean?
Brave combo.
Yes.
Brave combo.
I knew that was going to come in at some point when I saw you going I knew it was coming.
Right? Cool. And what's up? I'm Zoe. I'm the lead singer and guitarist of the band. And random fun fact, I've already said I like anime, so I can't really think of anything else wacky or quirky, but something with both of us, we break out in when we're talking to each other, whether it be I just go to her room or whatever. We break out and suddenly we are British speakers. We speak with an accent, and
we've been doing it a lot lately. Where I'm like Zoe, where's the shampoo? And she's like, I don't know. Sister, I'm sorry. And we've been doing that a lot. I think because that's just inside, and that we're just doing that. But
we've done that for ever. We've low-key done that forever.
I forgot. It's such a normal thing now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll say at least during this period of just shut down COVID, whatever, especially for you guys with the band and you two, you've had each other where all of a sudden you don't have to worry about kind of being that isolation away from everybody, where at least you're having someone to speak to and do all that weird stuff with. Where for me, I mean, now that I've lived alone by myself since beginning of May, so whenever I start talking, I'm like, wait, I'm actually talking to myself or do something weird. It's all by myself. So kind of the weirdness has just gained, and it hasn't really gotten any more comical. Well, I mean, if you put a camera in here and watch it, it'd probably be just wacky. Like the other day, I ended up falling asleep. Like I was kind of tired from podcasting like for the whole week. I ended up just like, okay, maybe I should do some work. I ended up passed out on the floor. And when I came to, like, my head was turned to the side, my foot was in the couch, and my arm was like draped over my head. I'm like, how the hell did I get here?
It's like that. The smartest people technically talk to themselves. I'm just
saying. It's good for mental health, I guess, and communication skills. I've read.
That wouldn't surprise me though, just because then you're not like keeping it all internalized, and it's just you're actually speaking about it. Where if you kind of just don't speak at all, if you're by yourself and it just you don't hear your voice and you don't know how things go, but all of a sudden you're hearing like your conversation bouncing back at you off the walls, and you're just thinking maybe, I've got an idea here. All of a sudden, what the hell was I thinking?
Right?
Yes,
yeah,
that's how it be.
That's how songwriting works.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of does though, just a little bit.
Sometimes you get an idea and it's just like, oh,
yeah.
And sometimes you get an idea and just think, I thought of that.
Right? Yeah,
right.
You just like review it the next morning. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess it wasn't that good. Oh.
Back to the drawing board.
Right?
I feel like you have to have like just a huge giant whiteboard at that point. Like, okay, back to the drum board, just erase it as much as possible, or just like take it, throw it out the window, and just start writing on the walls. Like, okay, now I'm getting this idea.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Just make sure you have a good amount of paint on hand just to cover all that up after it's done, because then, I mean, it might not be the best idea just to write all over the wall.
Yeah,
Mhm.
A little.
This is true.
Mom and dad would get mad just a little bit.
Just a little bit, but if it became just this absolute smash hit of a song, then in the end, they couldn't really be mad.
Yeah, I can buy you all the paint you want to cover up the walls whenever you want with the song.
Valspar endorsement.
Now that'd be a worth it endorsement too. I mean, they got a lot of money going there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I want to say jump into the music, because the last time I had Zoe and Molly, both of you, on the podcast, I'd found some stuff online, but you guys hadn't really released anything really new up to that point. However, back in September, you released the song Pretty Little Lies, which I remember hearing, I'm just like, damn, this is some good shit. And I remember, I believe I have put it as a song of the choice at least at one point during this time. If I haven't, then, I'm just going to look this up right now, because if I haven't, I'm going to probably just like smash my head against the table here, because then I will feel bad, because I definitely should have, because it was a banger of a song.
Right.
Let me check that up real quick. Oh, I did. Woo! Yeah. Didn't miss. Because and then all of a sudden I'm like waiting, thinking, okay, there's got to be some new music coming out at some point, because I know you talked about that. I'm just waiting here thinking, it's got to happen soon. Just when? And then all of a sudden I see this notification that there's new music from RoZY coming out. There's a new song called Doll. I'm just thinking, oh boy, I can't wait to hear what the hell they put together on this one.
Yes. This one's fun.
This one's fun.
We're
it's a lot
excited.
Of fun. Yeah.
So first question around Doll, I'm pretty sure that a lot of your fans and everyone is wondering is, when it came to writing this song and the titling it and having the title be Doll, what was the inspiration behind all this, and what was the writing process behind this kind of a song? And yes, I have listened to it before. I do have my pages of notes ready to go to talk about it, but I want to just really dive deep in the song with you guys before all of a sudden I go off and tell everyone what I think about it as well, and then see your reaction to it, because that's always fun.
Yeah. So long story short, Doll is pretty much about how everybody kind of has their opinion on everybody. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right wording. Everybody has their opinion on everyone, and like especially like when you grow up, when I was in high school, a lot of people were going to college, and they were starting to see, okay, well, I'm going to go here and I'm going to major in this because my mom told me to, or my dad told me to. And when Molly and I, like, as we've been doing this for a long time, and we were fortunate enough to have parents that were super supportive and like, hey, follow your dreams, and we'll support you 100% of the way. And so as like that was all going on, I was really just thinking about that. And it's like, at the end of the day, nobody is in your shoes. You are the only person that is in charge of your life. And no matter what anyone tells you, you're not going to conform to what they want you to be. It's like a doll, when you play dress up or whatever, you know, you very much are in control of that, but you're not going to be someone's doll. And so that's why the song is called Doll, and that's what it's kind of about. It's about being
Understandable. When I was trying to figure it out, like listening to lyrics, I took it somewhat in that similar way, but I kind of took it in a little bit of a different path. And it's also specific to something that we had talked about and mentioned back when I first talked to both you, Zoe and Molly, where I remember Zoe talking to you and you said something where a lot of the music that where you write about it, it has a lot of passion to do with like a lot of female empowerment stuff and a lot of like more like what's the best word? Like definitely making sure that there's equal rights for men and women on the same platform. And I kind of took that into consideration with this song as well. And when I wrote down like the meaning I think is about combating the traditional role in society that like we have around women, where it seems like you're wanting to talk about changing that, not wanting to fit into this very specific role that people want, that everyone else around you wants you to fit into, rather focusing on what you want to do and going your own way instead of kind of being that like, okay, this is where you are now. This is where you're going to be, and you don't have any say about it. You're like, no, screw that. I don't want to have any say. I want to have say about this. I want to go and do my own thing. So I kind of took that in that kind of perspective. So, and I always bring that up too, because then you can kind of see how where you guys were going from it, and then kind of how a different mindset kind of picks it up. Where again, it's very similar in the overall meaning, but when you get down to the specifics, it kind of changes a little bit in direction. But however, the core meaning is still the same.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad. I enjoy hearing that very much about what other people think about like the music that we put out and stuff. So
their perspective on things, it's cool.
So we'll bounce around to a couple of the other guys in the band too, because I want to hear what they say. So we'll go to Charlie on this one. So Charlie, when you were listening, when you guys are making Doll, when you're making the song, the inspiration behind it, what were you thinking about this?
I wasn't there. This song was written before I was in the band, but rehearsing it and playing it at shows and stuff, I think it's probably our most powerful, most meaningful song that really, like Zoe said, it's talking about how you're not you don't have to fit into the mold that's been cast for you or fit for. I don't know.
You got it.
It speaks to me because I haven't always been in the environment that was the most conducive to like me, like what I want to do as far as playing music, and the most supportive. I've had a lot of people telling me like, okay, yeah, but what do you actually want to do? Like that's your dream, but like, what about like for real? And no, this is for real. This is the real deal. It doesn't get.
And it should be the real deal too, because there's plenty of people where I'll use Travis Barker as the example of this, because when he was growing up and when he was trying to get into music as well, it was people were constantly saying, yeah, you can get into music, but make sure you have a fallback. Make sure you have something else you can fall back on just in case it doesn't work out. But he was so dedicated to it that the reason why he has so many tattoos, especially more face tattoos and neck tattoos, is because he put them on there so that he would force himself out of that situation where he couldn't necessarily have that, fallback, that safety net where it's like, okay, if I'm falling hard, but if I'm going to force myself to make the best out of this situation, and if it doesn't work, then it didn't work out. You didn't have it in you. But if you don't, because he did that, he put his all into it. So I can see you're coming from that as well, where you're getting a lot of pressure from outside where, yeah, you don't want, where people want you like, okay, but make sure it's for real. Make sure you have a fallback. No, screw that. If this is what you want to do in life, this is what you want to do. Because down the road, those people that constantly have that fallback and people that have that just, okay, I'm going to play it safe sort of way, if they might have this more stable kind of lifestyle in the end for a bit. However, they're going to end up looking back and just thinking, man, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. The regret is going to be huge as life goes on. And that's something that is going to stay with them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Alrighty now, because I've asked we've got all three, so I'm going to drop it, well, the way I'm looking at it, I'm dropping it down to Brandon on this one. So Brandon, when it comes to Doll, how does this song kind of impact you in terms of the overall meaning behind it? And similar like what it meant for Zoe, what it meant for Charlie as well, meant for Molly, what does it mean for you?
I think it means pretty much what it means for everybody, because we've all kind of experienced definitely me in the sense that I'm half Asian. So being a rock star is definitely not something in an Asian household that gets looked upon like awesome. It's more like, oh, can you do something in math or science or something, right? And that's definitely what my parents, both of them, wanted me to do. Even when they sat me down, they're like, what do you want to do with the rest of your life at like 15? Like, it's a really heavy question, but I love playing guitar, so I think I'm going to just keep doing that. And they're like, I don't know about all that. But, you know, as the years kept going by and I took it more serious, they kept saying, like, you might want to give this up and try to think about a real career. And I never really gave it any thought other than I'm going to do what I want to do. And I'm going to work really hard at being the best that I can be. And I mean, we're lucky enough to be where we are at this point. And now I finally have some approval from them. But I mean, the years of not having that approval was, you know, the message of the song definitely speaks right there.
Well, and then like what Charlie was saying, when you guys play the song live, why it's just kind of more that most impactful song that you end up playing in the forefront is because, especially for all four of you, that meaning does resonate true because you're, especially when you're growing up and when you're forming a band, especially in the beginning stages of it, you're constantly going to have people saying, oh, why don't you try something else? Oh, why don't you actually get a real career? Well, every band that's ever been super successful, they all started out in the garage. They all started out as the lowest of low, and they had to build themselves up from that point. If you quit when the going get tough, then, you know, we wouldn't have the bands that we listen to on a daily basis. We wouldn't be, like, for me, if Rise Against quit, like, right when they were beginning, hell, then I wouldn't have a love for punk rock music. That just wouldn't be a thing. But it's something where it's also inspirational as well to everyone else out in the audience because they can take that feeling of people constantly trying to push them in a different direction and push them in the mindset that they want them to go into. And the constant push against that from your own mindset, like, you know, you're constantly battling between, do I go after my dreams or do I play it safe and go after where everyone else is telling me to go after, even if they have the best intentions for you, like a family or friend, or there could be the bad intentions, like people that just don't want you to be better than them. That also is true as well. So it's just constantly pushing back against that and focusing on what makes you happy and focusing on where you want to be in life. So that's really where I think a song like this will resonate not only with you guys, with other musicians, with other people that really are doing what they love, and just anybody that's out in the audience at that point as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
100%.
Now, I want to see this song played live, but, you know, like, what, 1,400 miles away from Texas right now, and traveling is not the most conducive thing in this COVID world, so damn you, COVID.
You know,
We'll be up there sometime.
Hopefully this summer, you know, if everything goes well and, you know, we'll get the chance to zoom on over there.
I haven't seen Wisconsin in years. I took a little trip up to Wisconsin, the Trempealeau area. It's where my grandfather used to live and went to high school, but I want to go back to Wisconsin for sure.
Come on up. Come to Milwaukee, because here's a couple of things about that. One, if you guys like beer, we have a shit ton of beer up here, because that's what the city is famous for. Second, if live shows come back, we'll see about, you know, potentially if somehow we can get you guys to open up for someone at the rave. I mean, that'd just be absolutely insane. Yeah, it doesn't matter what stage it's at, basement level, the club level, or the ballroom. I've had great times in all three of those. I've gotten injured in all three of those. Happily injured, though. I mean, cuts, bruises, black eyes, whatever it might be. Other blood just on me from other people.
General
stuff. But then at that point, all of a sudden, people up here are going to get to experience your music at that point as well that might not necessarily have had a chance to. And all of a sudden, they're going to play something like Doll, and they're going to connect with it on this different level due to the fact that, you know, we just went through this whole entire pandemic thing, and we're realizing a lot of different things about life to where a lot of the problems that we have are rather small in the grand scheme of things. So when it comes to people constantly pushing you trying to go in a certain way, it's like, oh, play it safe, do this. No, you only have one chance at life, and this life isn't very long. I mean, we went through almost a year, this whole entire COVID period, and I know people that have just said, oh, this year sucked. Well, did you guys do anything outside of just like sit around and play video games?
Yeah.
But then there's people that really were passionate about their dreams, passionate about what they wanted to do with life, and they took that full force. And it seems like every single band I've talked to on this podcast, when 2020 hit and when COVID hit, that's the mindset they had. It wasn't, let's just sit back and see what happens. It's, no, this is the time to really go hard at it and just keep pushing for our dreams, because everything's shut down. What else are we going to be doing?
Yeah, we hit it hard during COVID. We absolutely hit it hard. That's like we that's when we got signed, like during the pandemic. We played some shows at some speakeasies and some spots you got to pull up to, and you like do 3 fast knocks, 2 slow knocks, and then a palm on the door for them to let you in.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No,
he's joking.
So bullshitting. He's so bullshitting.
It'd be cool if it was, though. I mean,
you had me like super excited for this, honestly. Like, I'm just thinking like some secret kind of show that you all 4 of you are playing, and just you kind of like send out like all the secret code fans, like, okay, here's the secret knock for this show, so make sure you're there.
Yeah, no, I mostly mean like we travel down south towards the coast, and down there it's like COVID hasn't existed this whole time, because you show up at a bar at noon and it's packed with 3 different biker gangs and a bunch of people, not a mask in sight. You play for 4 hours. And
that is true. That really did happen.
That's a real experience. I wasn't exaggerating.
It was 5 hours. It wasn't 4 hours. It was 5 hours.
Well, I was talking about the 4-hour one. We could talk about the 5-hour one if you want.
I was like, it seems like with this 5-hour one, there's definitely some bad memories. If I'm seeing everyone go, nope.
No, you would just keep it quiet. No need to do that.
No, I hurt myself, and we were playing for so long.
Yeah, I don't think my body's ever felt so beat from playing music. Like, it doesn't sound like a very physically demanding job, but every joint ached.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, it was like
Molly's.
Everybody was really tore up by the end of that show, and like we were pulling stuff out of like nowhere that Molly and I just used to play when we were just in 2-piece. It was insane.
We had to,
but we pulled through, and we can say we did a 5-hour show. The Beatles used to do, is it 3 or 4 hour shows, Charlie?
They did 4.
4. See,
and they did that like every weekend.
Well, actually like 6 nights a week or something, and they would go across the border, right, to Germany.
Wow,
that's crazy.
But you see, when it comes down, I was gonna say, when it comes down to it, though, it's even during this time where just there's not many bands playing. I know there are some where I have seen. Well, since the whole entire pandemic thing hit, I did go and see 2 shows that I could have seen because, well, if I had a chance to, I was going to go and see them. Why not? Yeah. So definitely that time frame is just when people are craving live music, and the fact that you went out and played a 5-hour show, that's just going to end up sticking in people's minds because it was some kind of return to normalcy at that point. It was something that they could latch onto and something they could enjoy with everything else that was happening in 2020. Not just the pandemic, but everything else that was happening around the world and in the United States as well. Just that a chance of finally just escape from reality and just enjoy life once again with a 5-hour set from RoZY, where, like you said, so you were pulling stuff out that you Molly played it back when it was just the 2 of you. And I mean, people are going to remember that as well. Just the fact that, this band came on, they played for 5 hours and it was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
It was a good show. Everybody did really good.
And I can totally understand too, just like what Brand said, is like, when your body's just beat after that, and it's just it doesn't seem like it should be. However, if anybody's been to like any kind of rock or metal show, you're seeing the energy on stage. You know that these people are just putting everything out on the line at that point. You're seeing the energy, you're seeing the vibe, and it's definitely going to be somewhere you're going to just feel completely beat by the end of it. It's no surprise there, especially after 5 hours. That is nuts.
Yeah, man, it's like 100%, 110%, because we don't like to have but excuse me, I tried to keep PG, but we don't like to have do it. We full on send it with every song we do, and so
and the people were like still really hyped at that point. They were all drunk, but they were like, keep going. We're like we're tired. Like,
they're like, it's okay, we're tired,
Grandpa. Yeah,
that's too dang bad.
We were so beat, but they were like getting into it even more. So we're like, okay, like
we started switching instruments and stuff.
Yeah,
that's
like-
right. Yeah, I rapped.
Wait, what?
You're not hearing that, but I did. I did a little.
She
Yeah.
watched 8 Mile right before the show.
Yeah.
As if you watch 8 Mile before the show, then who did you rap battle with? Was it one of the bikers? Please tell me you rap battle with one of the bikers. That'd just be fantastic.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it
for
was
sure.
Dirty Dave.
Dirty Dave and the boys.
Dirty Dan.
I feel like no, you gotta. It should be Dirty Dan, so it can be Dirty Dan and the Pinheads. So everyone
Pinhead.
can Pinhead Larry. Who you
No,
calling Pinhead?
I'm Dirty Dan.
I'm Dirty Dan.
I feel like there's a song that could be made off of that, where just like the intro just be, "I'm Dirty Dan and you're Pinhead Larry. Who you calling Pinhead? 1, 2, 3, 4."
Yeah, super punk rock. Super punk rock.
Heck
Hey, if you're looking for a punk rock track with an opener that's gonna make people think, "What? Oh my God, what the hell is this?" Dirty Dan and who you calling Pinhead?
Right? Yeah.
There you go.
I think SpongeBob is gonna resonate with people our age.
Oh yeah.
100%.
I mean, anytime you see a meme, any kind of meme that becomes popular, there's always a bunch of variations with SpongeBob in it. There's a SpongeBob meme for everything, so SpongeBob's always going to be relevant for anybody from right now, probably the age of like 30 and below. But then as time goes on, like that's not going to change. Like as time goes on, it's just all of a sudden, okay, then next year it's going to be 31 and below, then 32 and below. Like that age range is going to keep increasing.
Mhm.
Love SpongeBob.
yeah.
But enough with this whole entire SpongeBob nonsense. I want to jump back into Doll as well, so that everyone, when you're listening to the song on Friday, February 5th, when it comes out, which if you're not listening on Friday, February 5th, I'm going to ask you this one question. What are you thinking? Like seriously, what are you thinking? So, a couple of things I want to jump into with this song, and right from the intro, it was something that, like, because you just jump right away in the first verse. And it was something that kind of got me a little bit like thinking about this in a way, just because when I listen to it, like the drum line, rather simplistic, that has a heavier focus on like a deeper bass line. The guitar did come in well, play more of a softer tone, kind of like a supporting like this role in a little bit of a sparing sense. And I thought this was really interesting because with the song, it had more of this like classic rock pacing, which I'm thinking it's going to be something that's a little bit more vocal, a bit more voluminous, and a little bit more out there, a little bit more in your face. However, the tone of the song makes it feel like a mix between both like softer grunge and emo at the exact same time. And the reason I thought is because it felt like there's a more depressing sound to it. And I'm not sure like if this point is to reflect more on, because of course what I said I thought about was more of this kind of like how I thought the song where more of a women's role, and then kind of how people are trying to put you in like a box, like, okay, just be this. Like, no, I want to do this. Where it's kind of like you're singing about the emotions or reflecting on the emotion of those who speak, or the person who's speaking about this. And I thought it was kind of cool because you can take this emotion either way and it still works, especially because in today's day and age, I see a lot of bands that are playing with this kind of a style, with this kind of emotion. However, they're definitely going with more of this in-your-face style, so having more of this drawn-back style to it. It was something that I wasn't expecting. So right away, if I'm thinking, this is definitely interesting, I'm very curious to see how this ends up playing out in the long run. So right away, I thought, I gotta ask this question. Like, when it came to writing the song, was it a purpose to just kind of have this be more of like a drawn back, a little bit more? I'm trying to think of the right words, because emo's not the right word to it. It's like more drawn back, a little bit more
bare bones.
Yeah, a little bit more bare bones of a song. That's a good way to put it. Thank you, Zoe.
Okay, no, yeah, that's what I was going for. I wanted it to be more of like not because when we write, I try to make it to where not every song is the same. And I think I've said this in the last one, And so with this one, I wanted to make this one more intimate and more
just a change in pace,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like I wanted it to not focus on so much of the musicality. I wanted to focus on the words and like really listen. What am I saying? I'm a big words person. So I really wanted that to come across. And it's the whole first verse is just talking about like the person that's going through it is just like, man, this sucks, like, and it's the reality that they're facing. Like, it's very, I don't know. That's kind of just where I was going with it. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought, but that's where I was going with it.
No, that's funny that you say you're a words person, because I'm like the opposite. I like when I listen to music, I tune out the words completely and I just listen to like what are all the instruments doing.
When we were working on our new song, you were like, That's what you were saying. Both of y'all, you and Charlie, were like, that's what you were saying this whole time?
Yeah.
Dude, we've been playing the song for a fat minute, and they were just like, oh yeah, you sing, you. They would say the words, and then they're like, na 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 na. I was like,
You don't know the
you know the
words?
words? What?
Nah,
But
I don't know some of the words.
It's okay. It's okay. I love
I'm
you all.
there and I don't know the words. But
Yeah,
yeah.
Molly knows the words for the parts that she sings, but
Only. And then the mains, but that's it. Yeah, I'd be confused too.
But-
But yes, that was the point of the song.
Doll we know the words to though. Doll because like you said, it's more bare bones. We can hear.
Yeah.
I do. When it comes down to it, though, I do have to agree with Brand on a certain aspect of it because when it comes to the instrumentation, I think when you're really listening to it, a lot of the times those instrumentals really amplify the emotion that the song is trying to portray and the words are trying to portray as well. Which is why, for me, like why when I end up getting really big into metalcore in like 2019 and 2020, why it's like I focus so much more on the instrumentation, the words, because there's sometimes I can't even tell what the hell they're saying unless I look at the lyrics. Yeah. But it's just, you can feel the emotion based off of how the instrumentals are going. So when a song like this is more bare bones and the vocals are a lot more prominent, it's always very interesting to see how those instrumentals are playing off of that once your vocals came in. And I got to talk about the verses as well, because Zoe, when you started out with more of this, it felt like more like melancholic style vocal, but it was also forceful at the exact same time to go with this more like that more bare bones, kind of also like exhaustive and a little bit like a depressive sound at the same time as well. But I thought this was honestly a very good move because you're really feeling more of that emotion that you're getting from the instrumentals at this point, because it really gives you more of this concentrated, yet exhausted, like female vocal, the subject of the repetitiveness of this battle that you're constantly talking about, where it's just people are constantly pushing against you and pushing against your dreams and wanting you to kind of fit in that like that box of what they expect you to fit into and play it safe, and constantly having to push against that, just the constant battling with that and just having that overall like exhaustive kind of feel to it because of the consistency of battling through that. I honestly like picked up on that. I'm thinking this is incredible due to the fact that everyone again is always more in your face. This is more bare bones and more just letting it seep into you at this point.
Yeah, they are pretty much. That's took the words right out of my mouth. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's what you took from it, because that's pretty much
that was the point. Yeah, because like she said, all of our songs are super in your face. Yeah, and stuff. Well, not super in your face, but
the goal is to be like,
there's less tempo diversity.
Yeah, and so with this song,
it's more like we're your friends. To me, this one's supposed to be, I'm going to be intimate with you and share my rawest emotion, in emotions of how I'm feeling, and just how people feel in general with whoever's listening,
Yeah, and I was going to say, because the other songs I've heard from you before, especially look at Pretty Little Lies as well, where I think where the impact is going to come in most of her music is going to be with more of the sound and more of the forcefulness of just how the volume in the mix is. Where with this one, where the impact was going to be was definitely more with the words and definitely more with how the tone allows those words to really feel, and how when you're listening, how it makes you relate to that at the same point as well, where you're looking more at the words instead of looking more at the full-on instrumental mix within it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh man, look at me go. Woo!
Yeah, right on the money.
And now we're going to the chorus as well, because the chorus, you kind of kept more of that, again, that like exhausted with depressive tone at the same time with the same style bass line, the drum construction that I thought of. However, now the guitars really begin to take more of a hold here. And when the guitars came in, they definitely give this more of a full feel to the song. However, you can continue to keep up that more bare bones style as well. And this really I thought this really had more like the defeated sound to it. And it really was interesting because when you listen to the sound, you really feel, especially how I took it, where the woman in the subject of the song is exhausted trying to be herself and focus on her life when everyone else is trying to push her into a more traditional role, more of this in the box kind of roles where that fits in better with what they want them to do instead of what the person actually wants to do themselves. And you can really feel how much of this is taking a toll on that person by keeping up that kind of a sound. Had a little bit more of that bare bones feel to it, but a little bit more full in the terms of having the guitars in there as well. So again, the transition from the verse to chorus, really how this brought through, I thought was really well. And then I'll go to the vocals as well, because Zoe, in your vocals, the power came a little bit more, but you changed your pitch to a little bit more of a higher note, it felt like, while keeping the same overall emotion with the vocals. And again, I really like this as well because it fits in very well with the song. and you really feels like you're diving deeper into your own world on this one. The second half of the chorus has you hitting a different and like more vocal stride with whoever one of the guys was. I can hear a little bit of a male accenting vocal behind it as well. I don't know which one it was. It was Charlie. Good.
Yeah,
man.
that was me.
And I like this move as well because you're getting more of this passion and fight from Zoe's vocals, and the accenting male vocals from you, Charlie, allow that vocal from Zoe to stand out as well. The mix here, I have to say, was done very well to make sure both could be heard, but that Zoe's vocals also were the more prominent effect on the song because it worked out a lot better, in my opinion, to have that in there. So when it came to the chorus, I think especially with where you were going with the song and where the construction style was, you definitely hit it right on the head with this one.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it sounded a little. Did it?
What?
Because when we recorded the songs, we recorded a bunch at once, and we had to do a what is it, pre-production, and so like a lot of my parts got like watered down basically. Like I had a little bit more difficult parts, but in order for it to be like radio ready, they wanted it to be more like standard, but which I think helped in this case because this song it made it, like you said, more what's the word,
full without it's still being bare bones.
It just made more sense. And so, but the guy knew what's his name, John Derek yeah, he knew what he was doing when he fixed up the song. But
I think the big thing was to make sure the content was still going to be there in the end. However, the key was to make sure that that emotion was still going to be there. So they wanted to make sure that was going to be like like a good song to put on the radio. However, it was still going to end up hitting the stride that you wanted to hit with the subject matter.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know if they changed any of your parts or Joe's parts.
I
don't really remember. It was a while back.
No, we did this a while back. I don't think they did. I think everything was kind of true to itself. And I really liked how it just turned out in the end.
I think didn't I just have like my nose surgery?
You just had your nose surgery, yeah.
So I couldn't be a part of a lot of
you were a part of it after, like halfway through.
Yeah, I was about halfway through, I didn't get to be part of the beginning,
though. No, that was with Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie, sorry.
Yeah, but the parts that were made, I really enjoy playing. They're a lot simpler than what I'm used to playing, but I think it fits the song really well. I think just everything we talked about is just to make everything a little simpler so you can understand the words. Man, I love throwing down my big sky with those washy reverbs.
So good.
It's so good. It fills it up. You don't need a lot. I think less is more on this song.
Yeah, 100%.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Was this song definitely having less in there definitely brings out more in terms of the emotion you're trying to portray in this song and with the emotion as well. And one thing that this song also has that is a little bit different from, because I've talked with a couple people from a bunch of different countries as well around music, and totally from the band Wild Ways, a Russian metalcore band, because we were talking about the difference between how people in Russia see music and what they really value versus what we value over here in America with music, where it was like in America, we definitely value more of this, what the song sounds like in terms of the overall catchiness behind, in terms of the overall instrumentation behind it, especially with a rock and metal sense, like with what Brandon and I were saying, like you look at the instrumentals and you're really seeing how they're constructed. Where over in Russia, it's different, where this song might actually take a good amount of hold with that, because we're always looking at more of the vocals, what you're saying and how you're saying it, and the metaphors that you're using to really construct this ideal of a song. So that's a potential idea. Maybe push this a little bit more in Russia. This might work.
Actually, our fan base, when we came out with when we came out with Come As You Are, our biggest fan base was in Russia.
St. Petersburg.
Yeah, exactly. And then even when we did Pretty Little Lies, it was them and then Brazil. And
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan.
So if it was St. Petersburg, then that actually makes sense, because when I talk with Tully's from St. Petersburg, so it just makes this a weird kind of sense, like this is like some Twilight Zone Small World kind of shit right here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome. See, you knew.
I don't know. I'm like weirdly like psychic at this point. This is getting a little freaky.
You're on fire, dude.
Right?
Alrighty, but don't take any lottery numbers from me, because I'm not good at that.
Okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. We trust you.
Your luck might turn around, man.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Hey, if this podcast takes off and becomes the biggest rock and metal podcast on the iTunes charts and Spotify charts, then I know that I'm good. That's pretty much where I'll put it there.
Very true.
Still got work to do, but that's the goal.
We all do. We all do.
Exactly. But then when it comes going back into Doll as well, I want to go back a little bit more into it because there's also the bridge of the song as well, where it instrumentally you start out with that deeper bass line, the softer guitars, and Molly with your drums. They kind of slowly added more in the second half, and the guitars really began to pick up their power going to that final chorus. And this was something that I was a little thrown off at first when I first listened to it, but then as I listened to the where the chorus was coming in, kind of how it all ended up, it did make a lot of sense because I was expecting something to be really like picked up here, like kind of just a huge contrast in a way. Especially that's me listening a lot more of like punk rock and metalcore, where of course once that breakdown into the bridge hits, you're leading to something that's just completely massive. But what we got was something more really focused on that, like that bare bones, like kind of like more melancholic, depressive build into the final chorus. And again, I was hoping for more of a contrast to potentially break up that sound. But in the end, this actually worked out really well for you because that exhaustive feeling is kept throughout the entire thing. And you can really feel the full exhaustion that the subject of the song is feeling when she's constantly at odds with what she wants and what the wants of other people around her when it pertains to her life. So again, just constantly having that same sound in there. For this song, it absolutely worked because, of course, the prominence is more on the lyrics and what the vocals are trying to provide, but keeping that same emotion and making sure you didn't really, deviate from that, I thought actually worked out to your advantage. And then in the bridge, so you really kind of go with a softer, more depressing, slightly emo building sound around your vocals. And like, if you ever wanted the part that really connected this song with more of that concentrated yet melancholic sound, you hit this absolutely on the head. Like, this was the perfect part for it. Again, I had to listen to it like, this doesn't seem like it's going to go this way. However, after hearing the final chorus and how the song ended off of this made total sense. So it was something where, of course, you got to listen through it to the end to make sure you really feel the power behind where the bridge is going in the song.
Yeah, 100%. That one, it's funny you say that because the bridge is kind of like one of the hardest parts for me to sing, just because I have to very much balance between singing the song and like delivering it and then checking my emotions because sometimes I'll just get lost. And we did a show at the beginning of last year and we had a guy come in and record it, and because we were actually going to use that to shop. I think we were using that to shop to record labels. And we had did Doll, and I was just like getting in. I was getting into my feels, and I did not mean to. And by the time we got there, I actually started crying while I was singing. And I was like, the guy was like had his camera like right in my face, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm like, pull yourself together. It's okay. It's just a song. And my voice cracked. I felt so embarrassed, but I was like, pull it back, and I was just screaming. I was just getting louder and louder. I was like, oh man, and this is why. Gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself on stage. But yeah, I definitely the bridge is something that definitely means it's very important to me. Even though it's just a couple words.
I think it's better that way that you your voice cracked and stuff because I think from a fan's perspective, it just shows that you really believe in what you're saying.
Yeah,
this is true.
I appreciate you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why, like, when I thought, like, it hit perfectly at this point was because of that connection to it. Because otherwise, it's somewhere with fans. There comes a certain point where if you're gonna write something, you can tell when they're not being totally genuine about it. But you can also tell when they're putting all the emotion that they have into it at the exact same time as well. And that was something that really connected well here with the bridge. So if this is the hardest part to sing, I mean, goddamn, you hit this perfectly.
Thank you. Thanks.
And so for everyone listening, and when it comes to, because this is probably the longest, when I come to I always summarize a song and how I think about it. This is the longest I've ever written a summary about one.
Oh, wow.
Really?
So this is going to be interesting because the summary is probably about a third or maybe close to half this page. So I'm going to read it with how I wrote it because I don't want to mess it up. Trust me on that. I have before, and I will call myself out if I mess it up. So when it comes to Doll, so everyone, overall, this was not what I was expecting from RoZY in the slightest. Following the discovery of some of their older stuff and from their first podcast to Pretty Little Lies, I was expecting something with more of that hard rock sound and maybe some softer pop rock elements even mixed in there. Now with this one, the band focused on this more melancholic, bare bones, depressive kind of emo style in a way, but it also had a little bit of like a rock grunge breakdown at the same point as well. Given the theme of the song, I was concerned about this one as well because I thought it wouldn't deliver on the emotion properly from the outset. However, my preconceived notions were wrong as all hell here, and this is why I always have to give the song a fair listen to figure it out. Focusing on that sound with both the instrumentals and the vocals throughout the whole thing really gave us a deeper emotional look into the story that Zoe wanted to tell us, and more of this constant battle a woman is going through when she doesn't want to fit into the standard traditional role in a very rigid way, and dealing with all of the other forces around her that are pushing against her into that. It is a different take on the topic than many other people are putting in today, but is one that really lets you dive deep the emotional impact of it all. So, in essence, should you listen to it when it comes out on February 5th? And my answer is, yep. Yeah, you should. If you don't, then then I don't know what to say because there's something wrong there.
We would not be happy campers. Just saying.
Yeah, do you want to make them happy campers? Then listen to it when it comes out. If you want to make me a happy camper, listen to the song when it comes out as well. I mean, you're gonna see a smile on my face. Here's what I want you to do if you're listening to this on February 5th. I want you to listen to Doll by RoZY, and then I want you to message me on our Instagram page, MSO2D Rocks, message me and tell me what you think of it.
Yes.
And I want to make sure you listen to it.
Online to come see us that night at Warehouse Live if you're in the Houston area, or if you're not, come see us at Warehouse Live with Blacktop Mojo. That night, we might play Doll.
Might pop up in like once or twice.
I mean, if they play it 5 times, then you can consider yourself lucky.
It's the whole set.
Right?
Only that song.
Only.
But yes, so when it comes down to when it comes down to listening to the song as well, I will make sure that you guys have every opportunity to listen to it. So here's what I want you to do. Well, first off, listen to the rest of the podcast before you do this. That's the important part. But this is the next important part. I want you to take a look at the description of the podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, Podcast, Google Play, iHeart Radio. There's going to be links for their Spotify, their Apple Music, wherever the hell I can find where you can stream their music or buy their music, whatever it might be. And it's going to tell you to go there. And I want you to follow them so that when February 5th comes, when Doll comes out, that you have that notification pop up on your phone, wherever you're listening to music, if you're just streaming off your computer, whatever it might be, so that you listen to it right away in the morning.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Because if you don't, then I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be very sad. You don't want to make me sad.
No.
That's not a good thing. And I will say this though. I am a little disappointed in the fact that you guys are playing at Warehouse with Blacktop Mojo in Houston the day the song releases, and I am nowhere near that place because that would be just insane. I want to be at that show.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have you there, man. And especially if it being your first RoZY show. Warehouse Live is a pretty bomb venue.
They're a great venue.
They've had us since we were youngins. And so
like 14 or something.
Yeah.
Since we were really young. But
that was a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could open up the pit, man.
Yo.
With Doll.
With Doll. Oh, wait, no.
I'm in my Kia.
Well, and Brand, you expect me to do any less than that?
I'm sorry that I didn't expect that already.
Yeah, you say that like it's a joke, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're talking a guy who's probably got his fair share of pit injuries, and tells people that when I get to see them for the first time, I always say this: if you see me in the mosh pit and all of a sudden you see me some guy just start bleeding, get a concussion, get carted off of there, and it's me, just don't worry about it. It was out of happiness. If you see me come back with a smile on my face and with a huge bandage above my head or something, just know I'm good.
Yeah. Love that.
So when I do get to see RoZY for the first time, again, if mosh pit opens up and all of a sudden you start seeing me bleed or something like that, just know it's okay. Don't worry about me.
We're good. Yeah.
No, I won't be your doll. Kevin, I hope you're okay. No.
And you're gonna see me on the ground with people trying to pick me up, and all of a sudden you're just gonna see my hand shoot up with a thumbs up, we're good.
Right.
And then they finally stand me up. You're just gonna see all this blood dripping down the one side of my face. Okay, I gotta go take care of this, but I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Right? Yeah. For real.
I'll say it's not the first time. That won't be the first time it's happened. Plus, I have bands that are just saying like, yeah, we want you to be. There's a band I have on. There'll be one of the podcasts after you. A band called Seasons out of Virginia, and they're like, yeah, we've sent 3 people to the hospital to the ER because of the pits. I'm like, well, I hope I'm the 4th.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a good attitude. There you go.
But one other thing I want to ask you as well. Now this is off of This is all off of what's happened in 2020. Ever since I had you last in the podcast, because I have seen that you have been playing live shows. What has been the reception from you guys playing live shows with the fans that have gone out and see? I'm not talking about like from any kind of social media people like, oh, we don't want you to go to live shows. Not those people. I'm talking about people that are actually at the shows. What has been the reception from those people that have actually showed up?
There's
it's not like it's like a lot of people at the end of the day from the shows we've had, a lot of people really like when we play. I mean, not just because they're like fans of the band, but they're like, it feels like there's some sort of normalcy that we can have back, even though this last year was kind of a little crazy. But, and so to me, I'm glad, and I feel like we're very blessed to get the opportunity to just play, because there's a lot of bands that, like for the Blacktop Mojo show, I tried to hit up a lot of bands to come and join the show with us, and a lot of them broke up, and it's because of 2020. It's because, just because times got really hard and money, yeah, exactly, money and jobs and everything in between. Because I mean, what we do is it's not a cheap industry, it's a lot expensive, and and so we're very fortunate that we got to play, and we still get to play, and we're just happy that people like show up even though this is all going on, and they really enjoyed us playing.
We still get the same like confused reaction from people, especially the last show we played, because they're they're not expecting us to go up there, because we're walking around at the merch and then walking around some more, and then all of a sudden we get on stage and they're like, who are you playing? So we still get that, which is kind of but and then we start playing and they're like, oh wow, y'all are great, blah blah blah, this and that.
Y'all are actually really good.
Yeah, that was the funniest comment I've ever heard.
I swear, I didn't think
while
y'all
we were playing. While we were playing, we must look like children up there, because
I guess so.
It's kind of like, oh my god, they can actually play. Like we look like little kids, I guess.
We were playing. Yeah, it was weird. We were playing Carol the Bells by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So we were going in. We weren't just doing some like whatever. We were going
rocked
hardcore.
It out,
And then, I will never forget that. Now that you mentioned that, the guy and he was in the front too. And I think he ended up being one of the bands that was playing, or just some random like guy that came to a show. Mm-hmm. And it was right when it was quiet too, which made it even worse.
Straight up, what did he say? He
was like, "Oh wow, they can actually play." Something like that, right?
That's like verbatim what I heard. It was so funny.
It was just like, okay,
yeah.
That was a fun show. The audience there was kind of in stark contrast to what we did for about a month beforehand in San Antonio. We all made a long 3.5-hour drive to San Antonio, and just to play at a little dive, and I guess we hit capacity while we were playing, and whether that was to come see RoZY or come see the local bands, who can say, but it seemed like people were having a lot of fun, and when you look out into the audience and see people really rocking out, it adds fuel to all of our fires.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this: when on Friday the 5th, when you play with Blacktop Mojo, please tell me what it was like after the show, because knowing Blacktop Mojo, being able to talk to Matt, their lead singer, before, and knowing their style. I mean, if you take a look at them, these guys look like full-on lumberjacks. Like they're big dudes, long beards, play that like really like hard-hitting kind of hard rock, kind of like southern hard rock style. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be interesting to see all the people that are there that really are into that kind of style, because I know they're the headliner that night from when I saw the poster. Mm-hmm. They're gonna see you. I think you're gonna get that kind of same reaction. Like, wait, who these people are? They're a band. They're one of the openers. And then all of a sudden you start playing, you might get that. wow, these people can actually play. And then all of a sudden you got to say, yeah, we can actually play.
Take him out. Take him out.
For real. And too with like shows like that, we know we usually just kind of like not expect it, but we just kind of expect it. And so because of that, we play covers that kind of relate. We're like, okay, well, even if our music's not 100% your cup of tea, the covers that we play are gonna be your cup of tea. So like you're still gonna enjoy it either way. And we'll be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But that makes total sense, especially because when you're trying to really promote your name and put your name out there as well, when you're at a show that might have a little bit of a different style than what your style would necessarily be as a band, and you're playing covers and you're relating it more to the audience that is there. Then when it comes time to listen to what like your originals, when it comes time to listen to Doll, when it comes time to listen to Pretty Little Lies, what people are going to do is they're going to listen more to it because they're already going to have that connection with the band from that front. They're not going to be thinking, oh, it's just one of those other bands. Like they're actually going to have that connection with you because you took the time to cater to them in a way.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we try to do that with every show we go to, even if it's like a cover show, because we know like so many covers in
5 hours.
Yeah.
And so like if we have like a cover show and it's not that long, we make sure we're like, okay, where's it at? Like, what do you think the crowd's gonna be like? And we go accordingly, and it usually turns out great. So
yeah, because we don't want anyone to be driven away just because
they don't know our music.
They don't know our music. They think that we're just because there's 2 girls in the band or whatever. We want to make sure at the end of the day everyone has a good time regardless, and the music sounds good.
Yeah, and when you get those comments like, "Oh my God, they can actually play," then you've hit that stride. You've hit that goal.
Yes,
absolutely.
It makes me just want to like scream like that last note just a little more.
Makes you want to play just maybe like 1-2 more hours.
Yeah.
No, something like that.
Amp up one more notch.
11. Get that 11 going.
Yeah, turn it to 11.
That's Spinal Tap 11.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, but
I haven't seen that movie.
I'll say, but isn't that movie the drummer? Don't they always disappear? I'm almost certain of it. Like for some random reason, like all of a sudden, like something like their drummer gets abducted, and then all of a sudden they get another drummer, and he just like explodes out of nowhere, like spontaneously combusts.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the movie in such a long time, so I don't really remember. But I know there's something that happens with the drummer where all of a sudden they mysteriously vanish out of nowhere.
It's okay. We've got a contingency plan. Actually, any situation we're prepared for.
You're funny.
I was gonna say, well, if it's a contingency plan, then what's a contingency plan when all of a sudden, Charlie, you're the only one on stage that was able to make it for the show?
Regardless, I'm gonna go out there and rock out like my life depends on it.
He said, "Bust out the accordion."
That polka band trains you to be able to do more things at once.
Yeah, well, see, my dad actually has an electronic accordion that you play melodies, but the harmonies also, and with the right hand, that's the one with all the buttons. And this is a button accordion, not a piano accordion. But the left hand, you're playing basically the pa, the bass, and then kind of a chord. With his electric accordion, you can turn the drums on with the left hand. So I could really play the whole show just myself and my dad's electric accordion.
He said, "Y'all out of a job.
Y'all are out.
Y'all out. I'm
in.
sorry.
RoZY is mine."
It's called the Archer Polka.
So I feel like at that point you'd end up looking like Dick Van Dyke at the beginning of Mary Poppins when he's the one-man band on the street. That'd pretty much be what you'd be at that point.
That's Charlie. Yeah. I love that.
A G.
Now, if you ever need a full-time opener for RoZY, just have Charlie be his one-man band. I mean, you've got yourself covered.
100%.
Exactly.
So outside of the release of Down, outside of the premiere live show of it with Blacktop Mojo, which also congratulations on getting that show because that is just freaking awesome. Thanks. What other plans do you have going into 2021? As of course, we're about a month into this now. Of course, it seems like things might be getting better. Things might not be getting better in terms of the COVID situation. Who knows at this point? It's all up in the air still. But what's the plan for 2021 for RoZY in terms of making sure that the growth continues, and so that these songs like Pretty Lies, Like Doll, end up getting pushed out. So all of a sudden, people aren't going to be looking to be like, RoZY, who's that? They're going to be saying, oh, RoZY, I know them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Well, honestly, of course, with COVID, whatever, not whatever, we're safe. But we hope to tour in the summer, assuming everything opens back up, or honestly, as soon as we can, possibly when it's safer. And what was that?
You got to get vaccinated.
I mean, yeah. Well, you should
have a good time here, Charlie.
Yeah, and so we'll be doing that, and then I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but I'm gonna say it. We will be hopefully putting out, like a record in the future, near future, things like that. We got some things like
going
that
on in discussion. We of course have to get
other things,
the funds and the this and that, but also to get the funds we need more shows, and then with shows we also have COVID, so we have to adjust. So everything's up in the air right now as far as time wise, but we're hoping to tour, we're hoping to get a record out, and that's pretty much it. We're trying to do
12 things at once.
But we're trying to do TikTok and stuff.
Yeah,
we tried some stuff today with band wise and
dipping our hands in all kinds of buckets.
Yeah, just so we can get more out there, you know what I mean? So.
And Molly's been posting drum covers.
I know,
She posted today. It was fire.
Way to go, man.
Thanks.
Eternity forever.
Because I know that there's not many female drummers. I mean, not that there's
none.
Yeah, none, but there's a ton. But it's more unique in a way, I guess. And so I was like, I could at least use it to our advantage, to put my stuff out, and then my stuff is directly linked to our stuff. And so I figured if I post some videos and people think it's cool, then they'll automatically go to the band page, after and just connect stuff and get out there. And so we're just trying our best.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we want to just push as much of RoZY as we humanly can, and with the financial support that we do, because this is all self-funded. We we want to give people what they want, in the best quality, of course in a timely manner. But at the end of the day, we just want to give you guys
content.
RoZY, content and what RoZY is all about. Yeah.
And that makes total sense, especially with what you said, is making sure that, especially right now, it's just, there's the really uncertainty with what's going to go on in 2021 when it comes to tours, when it comes to getting back out there on the road. So anything that comes to new releases after this, when it comes to tours after this, I can tell there's definitely an idea, but everything's in the idea stage. You have no idea exactly when things are going to come out, so you don't want to dedicate anything to that or put anything on paper, put anything on the record. So that makes total sense. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to I was saying, you have your hands 12 different buckets, trying different things. This is the perfect time to do it, honestly, due to the fact that what else is there to do? I have seen Molly doing the drum covers. It's every single day now. It's on Instagram, especially around when I get done with the gym, I'm looking okay, and yep, there's a new drum cover from Molly. What's she doing today? Oh, she's doing Iron Maiden. Cool.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. I think we do a really good live version of that too.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's a good cover.
When we go to Wisconsin, we're just gonna play it for you, Kevin. I think you'd like
it. Yes. Make sure you play Pretty Little Lies when you come to Wisconsin as well, because that was the one that I'm just gonna be yeah,
I love that.
Of course.
But as I'm getting older in age, I might be Nick, I'm out.
Right?
Give me a beer. I'm out.
The sidelines.
See the guy with the beer in his hand, just all right.
Right, dude. Yes.
It's what happened? Oh, he definitely hurt something during the show, but he's still enjoying it. Yeah.
An ice
pack. Still supporting.
Not the cold youngling on the forehead won't fix.
Well, it won't fix anything here because we don't have Yingling here right now.
Really?
No, we're not getting it in Wisconsin until I think end of the year, because I know Miller Coors end up buying some of the distribution rights to it so they can push it more across the country. However, that's not happening until closer to the end of 2021. So
I heard from my friend that younglings were huge up north, but I guess not all the way up north.
More northeast.
Okay.
Because the furthest west that they sell right now is in Indiana. So if I want to get me some Yingling, I got to drive over to Indiana to get some, but I haven't done that ever.
Dang.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I'll just stick with my Miller Lite there.
There you go.
But one thing I do want to bring up again is the drum cover as well, because Molly, with what you said, where when it comes to every time I see a drum cover online, it's always a male drummer. It's always every step of the way. So it definitely that idea of you're putting drum covers out there and making sure that the content is quality. That's always the key. However, there definitely is that and the reason I'm gonna use the word gimmick is because it makes sense, but it's a selling point as well. But it's not something that it's like this is the only reason behind why you should be watching it. The reason you should watch it is because these drum covers are good. But it's just that extra, like, it's what's going to end up, it's kind of like a marketing tactic in a way where it's like, okay, this is what's going to bring people to it, but the content's what's going to make people stay.
Exactly. Yeah. I spent a lot of time, like, because I've been wanting to do it for a while, because I used to do, like, YouTube stuff, but I would just overthink it because it was a long process and this and that. And so I was like, I could just try TikTok. But I put a lot of time putting up and figuring out my backdrop and like what would be catching, like eye catching to people. And I knew that like if I dressed accordingly and I looked nice, I had my makeup on and I hair, whatever, then that would catch their eye. But the backdrop and everything, it would just took it up a notch. But I figured it was a good way to just, show my skills a little bit because, I don't really do anything fancy necessarily when we do like live shows. And then, of course, like when our originals, they just water my parts down just because. And so, it's my time to just, shine a little bit with some videos. And it's, 60 seconds, a minute long. So it's nothing crazy. But yeah, I do understand the like whole gimmick thing behind it. But it's a smart tactic, you just got to hustle.
Yeah.
You got to go where you fit,
Work with what God gave you.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and bands have been using that like gimmick style for years as well. I mean, decades, centuries as well, just so that to kind of have that extra selling point behind them to kind of bring you in and bring in attention. And I mean, you just bring a couple examples. Take a look at Kiss with all the crazy makeup that they've done, all the pyro. Motley Crue is another one. One of my favorites, Ice Nine Kills, with the whole horror theme. Like that is a gimmick that they use to just help like get people interested in the music. But then you listen to the music and you're just like, my God, this is good. So Guar's another one where it's just
Guar is true. The blood.
Because I'll put it this way, I in 2019 I got a free ticket to see Guar, and I'm like, I've never heard of any of their music. Would I listen to a lot of their music? Would I listen to music like on my own? Probably not. No. If someone gives me another free ticket to go see Guar live, am I going? You better believe I'm gonna be there. It's so much fun.
And that's what it is.
People expect to get sprayed with blood.
You got to use whatever you have, and especially us, we're up and coming, and we could. Anything we could get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and too, it's cool, girl power.
Yeah, obviously.
What about it?
And even like,
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brandon, you can go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I really like that you're expanding your horizons in terms of like musical styles. I think that's gonna help with our writing too.
100%.
I feel like the drums are a very driving thing in our songs.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they dictate how we're going to keep writing or like go in the direction. So I'm so glad that you're trying out different styles.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. And I have another cover I'm posting this week, probably Wednesday, I guess. But it's like of a more popular song that's like on TikTok and stuff like that. But I did add some little fancy, some little swing into it. I don't know if you can hear it as well, but I'm for sure doing it, and I try to mix it as good as I could. But yeah, I added it in there. So.
Can you cover some Zappa?
Sure.
Okay.
It's whatever, bro. I could do it.
It's called San Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
No, you need to do Everybody Rules the World, but metric modulated.
Oh my dude, I've seen people do that stuff like constantly. On TikTok, they do the audio, they do what's the song you played at your show, the Koi show? It was you, Aaron, and you and
Gelatin Mode?
Everybody wants to rule the world.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was. I love that song. But like, yeah, everybody's doing the module, whatever.
Like 6/8.
Yeah, in your brain.
That 6/8 beat that I showed you, Brandon.
Yeah, like see stuff like that. That's cool.
I just sing and play guitar.
See, I'm expecting to see more of these drum covers as time goes on. I'm expecting to see some crazy stuff as well. Now I'm expecting to see some Zappa. I'm gonna expect to see some kind of metalcore in there because I want to see some of this crazy double bass action and just see how crazy things get. But then again, it makes so much sense as well because then all of a sudden people are gonna start picking up on these covers. People are gonna start recognizing them. They're gonna kind of see, okay, does this work out? And then all of a sudden they're gonna see you play. They're going to enjoy them. They're going to start following you on TikTok, start following you on Instagram when you post them there. But then they're also going to say, okay, what else is she doing? And then they're going to dive into RoZy's music. And the reason why I say that is because that is exactly, and I mean almost exactly with how I got in From Ashes to New as well. And the reason that was because all of a sudden the pandemic hit and I was actually supposed to go see them live. That's all I knew about them. I was going to go see them live because they were opening for Hollywood Undead one night. Oh, nice. And that show got canceled. Ugh. But then all of a sudden, once COVID hit, they started doing all these different covers. And like they did covers of like High Hopes by Panic at the Disco. They did a Tears Don't Fall by Bolt for My Valentine, Nightmare by Avenged Sevenfold. The one that got me was they did Gravity by Papa Roach. And they brought in Jen Ledger from Skillet to do Maria Brink's vocals. Oh, so I watched that and I like, that's how I really found out about the band and found out what they were all about. And if it wasn't for those covers and all of a sudden when Panic came out, when their lead single came out, and one of my favorite songs from 2020, I would have found it, but I wouldn't have found it on the day it came out. But where I'm going with that is when you're putting those drum covers up there, people, and if they're the quality of the content is high, which it is, trust me on that. I've watched them. So everyone listening, trust me on that. But where I'm going with that is people are going to end up going deeper into that as well. They're going to want to know more about it. They're going to want to know more about what band you're in. All of a sudden, they're going to want to know more about RoZy. They're going to want to know, okay, what kind of music do they make? They're going to listen to some of it. Then they're going to want to know, where can I see them live? Because I want to do this badly.
Yeah, exactly. That was the whole point, and I'm so glad it comes across. Yay. Quality and stuff like that.
Quality content.
and then again, the more you traverse into like different styles as well, it's going to do a number of things. One is going to be, it's going to bring different fans into it as well, because all of a sudden you're going to post covers of like a metalcore song. Maybe you go full on deathcore. Maybe you go something just really wacky, like go with Zappa even. You're going to get different fans from all these different styles that are going to end up checking you and your music out. That's the way it's going to be. However, one thing that Brandon did say though, and I'm a huge proponent of this, where the more you work on these covers, the more you work on these drum covers, you're going to end up finding different nuances about different styles of music. So you're going to become more articulate when it comes to figuring out certain things in music, writing music, so that when you are writing more records for RoZy, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have these different ideas. You're going to have these different feelings. It's like, okay, maybe what I worked on in this cover with this song, like if it's a Zap song, maybe it was a metalcore song, maybe it could have been a country song. Who the hell knows what it might be? But there was something you picked up there that all of a sudden you want to put into this song where on paper, it might make absolutely no sense. Yeah. But then you actually listen to it and it's just the perfect thing to go about it. It's that mixture can really create this insane kind of content and this same kind of quality in your songs that you wouldn't have if you didn't do it. So keep it up. That's what I'm saying. Keep it up.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited. And like, yeah, because like Zoe writes all of our songs pretty much, and like she writes it and gets the bare bones, and then she brings it to me and I just add random little things.
And everyone makes it pretty.
Yeah, and everybody makes it even better. And you know, the drum covers I think will help a lot with me, because I have trouble helping her like melodic wise. I help her more with the words, you know what I mean? And like phrasing and stuff like that. But like the music, I'm just kind of like, I don't really know.
Well,
but yeah, I know. I'm kind of like,
she's kind of last, because Molly's like, okay, now what do I do?
Yeah. So she makes it, he makes it, and then I'm like, I'll just make up something. You know what I mean? But that'll help me a lot and help me help the band and stuff like that.
So. The greater good.
And yeah.
It's just going to end up expanding your horizons to the point where you're going to potentially be able to reach many different people in terms of not only with the covers, but also then with future music as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're going to get Charlie and Brandon want to do the same thing. They're going to start making covers of all these different songs as well. And then all this, next thing you know, you're going to have this full on writing session where you're going to end up like, kind of like what Blacktop Mojo does. And the only reason I'm bringing them up is because one, this kind of makes sense, but two, also you're playing with them on February 5th. So again, everyone go and see that show if you can. I'll put the link in the description as well for that show as well, for where you can find to get tickets, all that good kind of stuff, because, well, I like both bands, so why not? But one thing they did when they were writing records is they basically like rent a house and they're all in this house together, and they like kind of like confine themselves to it so that they all are working on stuff all at the same time together. So all of a sudden everyone's bringing all these different influences, all these different ideas, all these different styles, and all these different just like, okay, maybe this will work on this point. It might not, but why not give it a shot? And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you come out with one hell of a record. It could be something like that. You never know. But it's just something where if everyone brings their influences in, you kind of get this like different feel for writing music. That's what I've gotten out of talking with all these different bands. Have I ever done that myself? No, because me writing music is that's cringy.
It's okay. Hey, it's all work in progress.
Dude, we used to suck.
Dude.
I sucked.
It's okay.
I was not good.
No,
she was
it's
pretty
okay.
good, but I just did not have it.
And it's like a skill. It's just a skill you learn.
Yeah.
Just like playing the guitar, and even like doing what you do, to be as charismatic and like to be able to flow, that's not easy. It's not easy, and you do it, what I'm saying? But you worked at it, and now you are.
And also, like, when we added Brandon and Charlie to the band, they also added their own different input, because we listen to very different music than they listen to each.
Yeah.
And so whenever we added Brandon, he's like super guitar, crazy. What is the genre? Prog rock. Yeah. So he listens to hella of that music. And so he added that to our music. And then Charlie with all his little Beatles vibes,
strokes,
he added his, and so
right, yeah.
Which one? Who?
Oh, I just said 70s prog, because you listen to prog rock than I listen. I listen to like a month.
No, me and Brandon have different prog rock that we listen to.
Yeah, I thought he said Devil Wears Prada. I was like, what? You listen to that, Charlie?
I know, I was about to get excited. I'm like, oh my God.
Right, I know. He was wow.
It's like, this is a friendship forming right here.
Right?
I'm a Pink Floyd, King Crimson, Genesis, yes, like that type of 70s, progressive music.
Yeah, and that added to our sound.
Yeah, man.
It's great.
And that's how I feel like too, especially with new music that comes out kind of from here on out. You're definitely gonna tell there's growth. Like really, there's growth musically, words wise, and just everything in between. And I'm looking forward to like everyone getting to hear some of the new stuff we've been working on too. On top of Doll that comes out February 5th, please go get it on Spotify, Apple Music, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Quick little plug there. Love it, But where I was going to go with that too, just what my mindset was, listening to that, it's just when you're going to get more of these influences in there, that's just going to end up building on, instead of you being like, okay, what does this band sound like? Instead of having like this direct comparison, it's be like, well, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. It's kind of like a melting pot to the point where all of a sudden people are going to start describing like other bands. Like, what do they sound like? They sound like RoZY. Like that's kind of that's where things are going to go with that. And there's plenty of bands that all of a sudden when they start out, it's like, well, what do they sound like? And then you're always describing, they kind of sound like this. But then all of a sudden there comes a point in time where when you're trying to describe a different band of someone, then you're going to start using their band. It's like, okay, this one sounds like the Foo Fighters. This one sounds like A Day to Remember. This one sounds like 30 Seconds to Mars. This one sounds like RoZY. It could easily get to that. Don't get me wrong. It could easily happen.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to that.
We're excited.
Yeah, we just got to take our influences and the sound that we've cultivated thus far and kind of run with it and make it into something new and something that people haven't heard before, and something that's refreshing and exciting for listeners all over the world.
Yeah.
And then everyone will know your name by, let's just say, 2021 right now. Should we just go with 2022? Just play it safe.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's crazy because this time last year it was supposed to be 2021, but now it's got to be 2022.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
The vibe.
But then again, it's all just taking the situation that you have in front of you right now, and then instead of being, oh, it should be a different way, thinking this is a situation right now. How can we make the most of the situation for ourselves? And with the explanation that you guys gave in terms of what you've been doing and what you're planning on doing in terms of the rest of all 2021 to make sure that the band continues to grow, you're taking everything that comes at you and you're not trying to force certain things. It's like, oh, I wish it was this way. No, it's like, okay, this is the way it is. This is the way the world is working right now.
Yeah.
In what way can we make this the best for us as possible?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. All any of us can do.
Yeah.
That's all anybody can do at this point. It's just now I'm starting to think like, oh man, now I wish that concerts were kind of the big thing again. My wallet is probably happy, my bank account's happy that I'm not paying for all these live shows, but my mind is like, I need a mosh pit badly.
Right? Yeah, I feel that.
But put it this way, don't worry. All of a sudden, when I see that bank accounts start going down, I'm like, oh. But then all of a sudden, I see all the tickets I have for concerts. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've been to a single show that I didn't play since probably this time last year. I haven't really been to any concerts.
Yeah, honestly.
That's true, same, yeah.
Mine was in December.
Wait, no, because I went, yeah, no.
I went to Ariana Grande concert.
Not in 2020.
Yeah, that was before. So
Sure,
that was my last
2019.
one.
Wow. 2019, October 2019.
My last
November 2019 for me, I saw Twin Peaks and Post Animal and Ohm, who's another great female-fronted rock band out of Chicago.
Nice. Mine was Water Parks. It was the day after Christmas.
I think
2019.
the last big one I saw was February 22nd, 2020. I was in Madison, Wisconsin to see The Word Alive Escape the Fate and Falling in Reverse.
Dude, that's a great
Wow.
lineup. That
Oh,
sounds
man.
awesome.
I saw them when they did the Bury the Hatchet tour.
Oh, in 2015.
That's nice.
Dude, it was that one was fun. I almost broke my nose during that show. Well, it was worth it.
Oh
But
yeah,
that-
the mosh pit was huge.
Yeah, but
So, Kevin, I'm assuming you've played your fair share of hockey in your life.
not really. No.
Really? I was gonna say I feel like your pit instincts may come from hockey instincts, right? Because isn't hockey also kind of about getting hurt and
Kind of. I used to get hurt. I used to get hurt a lot playing indoor soccer. I'd usually just fly because it's a setup of like a hockey rink but with turf. So I'd end up flying into the boards all the time. Multiple concussions going into the boards as well, so that could easily kind of just add to it. But yeah, it's fine. But then once COVID kind of hit and everything started getting shut down, I've seen 3 shows since, and one was right as everything was starting to shut down. So the band Kingdom Collapse out of San Antonio. Love the band. I've had Jonathan on the podcast like 3 times so far. Always a good friend. I saw him right as everything was shutting down in March. Then I went to go see the girls of Gold, Frankincense, and Myrrh in Green Bay, Wisconsin in July. And because this is your deck, this is their deck. I got both those decks.
Cool.
And then back in September, 2 other bands I've had in the podcast. One's called, and I think they're out of Texas somewhere. They're called Relent. And then The Protest. They were playing a show up at this like really remote winery in the middle of nowhere, like northern Wisconsin. It took me 3.5 hours just to get there, and there were maybe 50 people at this show.
Wow.
Maybe. And I'm like, I'm going to this show because I've had both these guys on both bands on the podcast for. I want to see them live. I am making this happen.
Yeah, man.
Dedication.
I love that.
That's good.
If I knew I was going to bring that up, I should have worn the Protest shirt today, but nope.
It's all good.
It's okay.
It's all good. 30 Seconds to Mars. What if?
And that's why I got the 30 Seconds to Mars American flag in the back as well.
Oh no.
That's the Illuminati triangle.
It's their like triad triangle. If it was Illuminati triangle, then I'd have an eye in the center of it, not that other line.
I see.
That's why it's like with any kind of like profile picture I have on like any social media, like whether it's Facebook, Twitter, but the Instagram, my personal Instagram that I don't use ever, or like my little like Zoom picture, it's me with the flag wearing a Rise Against t-shirt with Jared and Shannon Leto right next to me.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
I would
Everyone that
this one?
yeah, that one.
Okay.
Love that.
You found it. You found me.
All right. Detective.
I work fast.
Yeah, I was like, that was really quick. The thing that surprised me the most is that you found it on my personal Instagram, which I barely ever use. Like, that was the thing that surprised me the most.
Dig deep and just type in your name.
Oh yeah, my name is up there.
I have it right here in front of me.
Well, now I'm just sitting here thinking, oh boy, that makes me look silly. But I always look silly on these podcasts. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
The loosey-goosey flow, and always end up roasting myself at least 3 or 4 times during these. If I don't, there's definitely a problem.
Hey, me too all the time.
I mean, I was kind of hoping that we'd get started and Brandon wouldn't be on for like 2-3 minutes, because then all of a sudden he'd jump on. We just start roasting him about teaching America's youth good music, and then we'd start rattling off all these random bands that make no sense.
Brandon said, nah, I beat y'all to the punch. I showed
with
up.
his
With his burrito bowl in front of him.
Yeah, is it cold now?
Oh, it's mega cold, and they're nachos, and there's shit on top of it, so it's getting soft.
Oh.
It's
Not
good.
No, I feel bad. I've kept you from your burrito.
No,
Yeah, but that's very
really
polite of you to not eat during.
It is. However, I have had people just, again, I'm used to anything in the podcast. Like the one I had with From Ashes to New with Lance, he was eating a Blizzard the whole entire time.
I love that. Those are good.
Was he testing it out? Was he?
No, he wasn't. He ended up showing up 10 minutes late. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I was going to be here on time, but the line for Dairy Queen was really long.
Oh my God.
At least he had proof.
Yeah, at least he had proof. I'm like, okay, dude, you're good. Like, I'm glad you showed up, man. And he's like, yeah, it's for a Blizzard. Okay, it's for ice cream. Totally understandable.
Yeah.
Brain freeze.
Okay, that did not happen. I kind of wish it would have, because I would have had so much fun with that.
Right?
Okay, maybe on the next podcast I should go get myself a Blizzard as well, or go get some custard and just start eating as fast as I can during this. And all of a sudden, I ask a question, all of a sudden you hear me, yeah, so what with this song when you were thinking about it?
Right.
My brain is cold. Yeah, but then again, I got an idea. So, kind of because we're getting close to the time to close this podcast out, I've got an idea that I want to run by you now that I'm thinking about a custard and ice cream and Blizzards.
Yes.
So, this is not an if. This is a when. When RoZY ends up getting back on the road, which is again when, not if.
Yes.
And when that happens, and when the band comes up to the state that I live in, good old Wisconsin, when you come to Milwaukee to play a show, now that I'm thinking about ice cream, hell, I know a couple of good places here. You guys want some ice cream?
Let's get some.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely. Well, because I always like to do the good old first rounds on me club that I created during this podcast, where if I love hanging out with the band, I love doing stuff. Usually it's like if I see a show, or when I see a show, when I see bands play live, when it comes to the drinks, first round's on me.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm gonna modify that in a way where it's not only the ice cream, because that'd be freaking awesome, but also after the show, we'll keep that tradition going.
Yeah.
You're awesome. That is the sweetest.
Yes, I'm down.
Kevin the homie.
Just, I have one request. Please, please, please do not bankrupt me, and please don't order like $100 in ice cream.
No, we are very nice and courteous.
We are lactose.
99. I'll put it this way: $99 is fine. $100. Now we're getting.
No, you're good. Hey, we are very respectful, and
it's
we
all
don't
good.
want to do that.
Yeah. How many lactose intolerant people do we got in the house tonight? Okay. Yeah, I'll put some ice cream.
I think I'm like half lactose.
See, yeah.
It's not like severe, but like it's there. It's there.
Let's put it this way: I'm from Wisconsin. I'm pretty sure it's illegal to be lactose intolerant in this state.
Oh, wow.
We'll just take some Lactaid.
Actually, you're right.
Lactose pills.
Yeah, then you'll be fine.
Probably like mutated to where they're good.
Yeah.
You're
right.
We are the mutants. But I'm definitely, if I'll put it this way also, if for some random reason I do not remember that, just call me out on and be like, hey, remember when you said this and that? At that point, I'll be like, yes, I do remember when I said that now. So,
This man really went and got some Ben and Jerry's.
Yes!
You reminded me.
And that is the perfect way to close out this podcast with the talk of ice cream in first rounds. I mean, both ice cream and after the show drinks. So before we send you on your merry way for the rest of the, well, because we're shooting this in the evening, for the rest of the evening, anything you guys want to say, anything you guys want to plug, the floor is now yours. So go for it.
Anything?
Anything.
Brandon, go ahead.
Well, yeah, you know,
Go ahead.
you know what it is. You check out. Can't do that. Yeah, you check out RoZY. At the RoZY Official everywhere. Go to our website at rozyofficial.com.
Instagram, YouTube, Facebook.
We've also got, even though, you know, shows aren't happening right now, we have merch that you can buy online and get shipped directly to your house through our storefront tier. And all that, or Teespring. Yeah, all the money we use goes straight back into the band to make more content, to save up the money to record new stuff for everybody and get music videos out there.
And there's a lot of merch on there that we don't sell like physically or at any shows. So
This is
it's
like
like exclusive stuff that you can get.
This is the only shirt that we sell from there. Wait. I gotta stand up. Boom. Okay.
Our eyes.
Our eyes.
So if you want merch, go to Storefront here or
Yeah.
Teespring and then / the RoZY Official.
And with that being said, we also with the recording that we'll be doing, we'll more than likely be doing a little Kickstarter. And
To
it'll be
raise
to
money.
raise money to do the or shoot for an LP record, you know. But yeah, any help that we could get, which it'll be starting within the next couple of weeks, would be tremendously amazing.
Appreciated.
And you get cool rewards back too. We've got even one where it's an executive producer award where you can come in and like watch us do the recording process. Your name's on every single CD we come out with.
With one slider.
Yes.
Click one slider on the board.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, exactly. With the one, we get my stylist out and do that. You know. We got some guitars. We'll be custom signing and stuff like that, and everything in between. But we really want to get as much music out as we can to you guys. So yeah, that's something to be on the lookout for. And
That's our plug.
yeah, thanks, Kevin.
Alrighty, now it is time for me to end this podcast. Right, so couple of things for everybody. First things first. Oh, nice, he finished the ice cream. Yeah. When it comes to finding RoZY online, when it comes to finding everything that they said, when it comes to finding everything you need to find about RoZY, whether it's their online socials, where you can find Molly doing the TikTok covers with the drum covers, where you can find all them on socials, where you can buy their stuff, where you can buy their merch, where you can go support them, everything, and even listen to music. And also, cannot forget this, February 5th, everybody, Doll is coming out. So again, all the links in the description below to follow them on socials, find their merch, buy their merch, and listen to this song and make sure you pre-save as well. Everything's gonna be in the description below. And if you guys start that Kickstarter but after this video and after this podcast releases, just send me the link and I will add it to the description. I can always do that. Makes it just so that everyone is able to get that. Also, when it comes to them saying, yeah, they will send everything to you and send it to you in a timely manner, you want to know the personal attest to that? Yeah, I can. I mean, again, look, I think I got that in like 2-3 days. Like, it was nothing. Like, it was super quick. So it was awesome. Yeah, they send stuff out really quickly. And
the secret for that actually is Brandon's dad is he's a delivery guy, and he handles all of it himself, and he just straight up to Wisconsin.
oh, it was fantastic. Yeah, it was like 3 days I got it. It was awesome, man. It went up on the wall like a week later because I needed to get proper bolts and like put some wood behind it so it would stick on the wall nicely. So everything you'll need to find is in the description for the podcast. Please, 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 again, pre-save the song if you listen to this podcast the day it comes out, the day after it comes out. But if it's on February 5th, 2021 or after, go listen to Doll, because if you don't, we will be sad. You don't want it to make us sad because, well, that's not a good thing. So now in closing, Zoe, Molly, Charlie, Brandon, I cannot say goodbye in the good grace of my heart due to the fact that a couple of reasons. One, this is the second time we've done this. Well, Molly and Zoe, the second time we've done this, so I know it can't be a goodbye. And there's certain plans in the works when you guys come to Wisconsin. Again, first rounds, I mean, both ice cream and after the show drinks, or even during the show, whatever it might be. I don't know. Just take me up. And then all of a sudden be like, okay, we got to get this taken care of, but it's something I want to do. So I cannot say goodbye in all good conscience because there are plans in the future. So we're going to end this with my favorite thing in the world. See you later.
See you later.
See you later.
Adios.
Well, folks, that's my interview with the band RoZY. They're out of Houston, Texas. And yes. Here's the things I want you to do and remember. 1, on February 5th, please, for everything that I have in my mind, please go and listen to Doll when it comes out. Yes, we talked all about it on the podcast. I did the deep dive with the band on it, and I think you will really connect with this song if you've ever felt like people have tried to put you in a box and tell you what to do. So definitely go listen to the song. Definitely go check it out when it comes out on the 5th. If you are in the Houston, Texas area, please go and see RoZY play live with another band that has been on the podcast with Blacktop Mojo. They're playing, I believe it's at the Warehouse. I will put the link in the description for you as well. And then also check out all the other stuff that RoZY has to offer, because you're going to want to keep in, tapped on this band and keep in touch with them as we go on. And remember what I said, that when Doll comes out on the 5th, please DM me on our Instagram page, Twitter page, message us on Facebook. I want to know what you think about this song, and I will send it right to the band as well. I want to hear what you have to say, and I'd love to talk to you about it. So please remember to do that. And on that note, that's going to be for me today, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. But MSD rocks or rock metal thrive. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one of them with a big, healthy, and hearty see ya. Yeah.